Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Alex, and I'm the host of a DID system called the Obsidian Collective. And today I'm going to talk about inner system fighting slash physical violence in a world. Not every system experiences this, but it is something that we experience. And I think it's more prevalent in larger systems. But due to the circumstances that created our system, our inner world is very, very large, very large and very complex. Um, so not every altar gets along, and that happens in smaller systems as well. But for our system, it's kind of a lot more complicated due to the amount of relationships that exist in a world because of the amount of altars there are. And so I wanted to talk about it because it's kind of been more of a problem lately. Before we would get into arguments, and there would be like physical altercations sometimes, but like very rarely. Inner world, um, which is just like a fight in real life, except it exists in our head. And there's not like a hospital or anything the way there is in real life in the inner world, even though I think we should, and other alters have stated that they think we should have a hospital in a world, just because of the sheer amount of alters there are, and also because of the increase in fighting that's been going on. But it became more of a problem lately because um, alters have been fighting so much that it's pretty much been like permanently disabling uh, alters in a world, because there's no hospital for them to go to get themselves checked, and they don't heal like immediately. Um, and so uh, I'm trying to think of an example that isn't that I'm allowed to talk about, but basically, our head protector Ace got into a physical altercation with several alters, and the circumstances of it I can't give out all the information because some of it is private, and for our own safety, like, we can't talk about it. But it was intense enough to the point where he is now half blind, and it's when he fronts, he's fine, but when he is inner world, he's half blind. Um, and he wasn't before this altercation, and that's been happening to other alters where they get hurt and they're like permanently injured, permanently like limping, or they have like a broken arm or broken leg, and it's just like that now because we don't have a hospital or anything. And so I question what do we do in this circumstance. I think it's such a unique situation where I feel like I can't really go to other systems and be like, hey, what do you do when your alters are fighting so much inner world that people are like getting like permanent injuries? Um, like, what do you do? Um, it's kind of caused a like revolution, quote unquote, in the inner world. Our inner world's kind of been uh, on. It's been like, I don't want to say like in a lot of turmoil, but I don't know how better to word it. Um, but due to the circumstances of our trauma and the way the reason certain alters split and their roles and all of that, um, there is like a divide between some alters and other alters where there's just like this intense disagreement on how things should be run. Our gatekeepers are very totalitarian. I'm probably saying that wrong, but they run things with the attitude of they're the gatekeepers, they're in charge, and everything they say goes, and they don't really make the best decisions in the eyes of other alters like Ace, our head protector, um, and like Sam and me and Jay and all the other side of alters, we'll say. Um, there's like a very specific details about alters that kind of play a role that are like private for safety reasons. But the gatekeepers are basically allowing these fights to happen as a means of having control over the system. And it's like, it's not okay in my eyes. Of course, it's okay in their eyes, but it's not okay in my eyes. It's not okay in like most of the protectors' eyes. So there's like this disconnect between the protectors and the gatekeepers, and it's causing a lot of turmoil, a lot of fights. Um, in our world, we've had to establish safe havens um, because of how tense it is, and certain alters like have to avoid other alters to avoid physical altercations. It's basically like two sides of the system are at war with each other. I mean, the system is big enough for that, and it's kind of exhausting when I'm just fronting, but then in my head, there's like a whole like war going on. um, and you have to like be careful about who you talk to and all of that stuff. But like, it's horrible. I shouldn't have to be careful of who I'm interacting with in a system, like in my own system, but I do, um, because of the circumstances and the way the reason our system exists and all of that. Um, and it's horrible. So I don't know if any other systems have experienced this or had it to this degree. I think a lot of people might watch this and be shocked that this can happen. Um, and like, I'm shocked that it could happen. It's kind of been a like joke between uh friends of ours, where it's like a revolution's gonna start, or a revolution needs to start, because it's kind of been an ongoing thing that the gatekeepers behavior has been like unacceptable. um and the things they do is like unacceptable, like the way they keep control over the system is terrible, because it's like it's we're just a system of most alters in the system are traumatized. They hold trauma, and then the gatekeepers are enacting this role of needing to control those alters and needing to basically keep them acting the way our abusers would want them to act. Um, and it's like been causing a whole amount of problems, because alters don't agree with that. Other alters don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. And the attack on our head protector, who is like one of the most highly like respected alters in the system, because he's probably like the most empathetic. He's always helping everyone. Um, he's really kind, and he always puts himself out there to keep us safe, even though he's like giving up half of all of himself to keep us safe, pretty much. Like, he's always putting himself in jeopardy, um, for others, for the fact that they kind of like let him be attacked and like kind of put him in a trap situation in a world, um, to kind of like make a point or keep control over him and his actions is not okay. And so that's what's happening in our world, and it's being coupled with a lot of fighting. Um, Protectors are being assigned like um, groups of alters to look after, because of the prevalence of how intense things are right now. And people are like encouraged to buddy up with their protectors if they're like going anywhere, or anything, um, because it's so intense right now in our world. Um, but this was kind of a long time coming. Um, the tension's been there for a while, so um, I wanted to talk about it, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this in their system or if we're just saying really unique, shocking stuff, but it would be nice if someone else has experienced this because it's really stressful and hard to talk about with people because it's like, oh yeah, I have like a mini revolution going on inside my head. A lot of people are going to be like, huh? What? What are you talking about? But yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So thank you for watching if you watched. Um, we make videos about DID and Hellenic polytheism, and I appreciate you watching. You can always like and subscribe if you like. So thank you, and bye bye.